Lesson 132, the dative plural. By now, you know that for each case, there is singular and plural. And so you already know the dative singular. Now it's time to learn the dative plural. And so that ending for a noun, that is the nouns we're working with, that ending will be omicron iota sigma, ois, and the article will be tois. So both of those have the same ending, omicron iota sigma. And as you can see here in the chart, the dative plural form of georgos would be georgois. And again, the article is tois. And so this is the form we use if the indirect object is plural. If you're giving something to just one farmer, it's being given to georgo, that's dative singular. If you're giving something to multiple farmers, it's tois georgois, to the farmers. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of example sentences. Didomi chryson tois didaskalois. Didomi means I give or I am giving. Chryson means gold. Notice that chryson is accusative singular, and it is the direct object. And then we have a plural indirect object, that's tois didaskalois, which means to the teachers, and that's dative plural. Notice the omicron iota sigma ending on the word didaskalois. Now you may be wondering about the accent in the word didaskalois. You might be thinking, hey, why isn't it didaskalois? Because you told us a few lessons ago that the omicron iota diphthong is short when it's at the end of a word. That's true, but it can't just be in the last syllable. It actually has to be the last thing in the word. In other words, the last two letters of the word have to be omicron and iota. For example, in the nominative plural form, take a look at the chart here in lesson 132. In the nominative plural, hoi georgoi, there, the omicron iota diphthong is actually the last thing in the word. So there, it really is considered short in that particular case because it's the last thing. It actually ends the word. In the dative plural, that's not the case because there's a sigma after it. So the omicron iota diphthong is, in a sense, at the end of the word, in the sense that it's in the last syllable, but it's not the actual last two letters of the word. There's a sigma after it. So in that case, in the dative plural, the omicron iota diphthong is considered long. So, for that reason, the last syllable of didaskalois is long, and so it will pull the accent one syllable to the right. And so instead of didaskalois, you get didaskalois. So the takeaway there is that the omicron iota diphthong is only considered short when it's the last thing in a word, not just merely in the last syllable. Same thing goes for the alpha iota diphthong that you'll work with more later when you study feminine nouns. In the next example sentence, we have ego buturon kai turon didomi. That means I give or I am giving butter and cheese. Then we have an indirect object that is plural, and that's tois magerois. That means to the cooks. Notice that it's got the omicron iota sigma ending. And again, in magerois, as we saw a moment ago in didaskalois, the accent has moved one syllable to the right. So instead of magerois, it's magerois, because in that final syllable, we have either a long vowel or a diphthong. Remember, diphthongs are always supposed to be considered long. That's the way it's supposed to be, except for those exceptions that I've mentioned when the Omicron iota diphthong comes at the very end of a word, or when the alpha iota diphthong comes at the very end of the word. Those are the exceptions. But besides that, diphthongs are always supposed to be long. So here, the Omicron iota diphthong is long, so it pulls the accent one syllable to the right. So instead of magerois, we have magerois. In the third example sentence, we have pantota didomi. That means I always give. Horton is the direct object. Notice that it's accusative singular. And then we have really two plural direct objects, horses and pigs, both in the dative plural. So tois hippois and tois hoirois. Both of those are dative plural, so it's to the horses and to the pigs. In the word hoirois, notice that the long final syllable has converted the circumflex into an acute accent. So hoirois here has an acute accent on the first syllable. Let's take a look at only one exercise, exercise 1. We have polakis didomi, that means I give often, or I am giving often. Arton is accusative singular, that means bread. It's the direct object. And then we have tois huiois, that means to the sons. Notice that it's dative plural. It's got the Omicron iota sigma ending. And the tois huiois is being possessed by the genitive noun Cadmu, that means of Cadmus. So it's the sons of Cadmus. And so the sentence as a whole says, I often give bread to the sons of Cadmus. And so here in this sentence, you've got lots of cases. You've got accusative, you've got dative and genitive all working together. And so you really have to pay attention to those endings.